if you're an athlete, you always trying to figure out why certain athletes get privileges and they be able to shine more than other athletes, right? And we never understand how one person can be in one situation and somebody who might be better than them can be better in a different situation, but then somebody completely different has a terrible outing, right? So I want to talk to you guys today about three things: fit, trust, and ego, right? My name is Reggie Calhoun, and for the last 10 years, I've been working with athletes on how to go from where they are to where they're trying to go, whether that's high school to college to real life. And I found out that the three things that most people don't focus on is fit, trust, and ego. So what do I mean by fit, right? Every athlete has this mindset that I can do exactly what this athlete does. We all have this competitive nature about us where we think just because we're the same size, height, weight, speed, position, that we can do the exact same thing that somebody else was afforded, right? And that doesn't always work in the favor. You think about recruiting. A lot of athletes want to get recruited to the same schools. They all want to go to the same teams, the coaches, and reap the same benefits. And then when they get there, whether it's a Power 5 school, a pro team, high school, club team, whatever it is, and they get there and they don't have the same success. The reason being is because they don't fit, right? Every skill set that an athlete has is uniquely structured for a certain program. So when you talk about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and your interest, right? Every situation is not for you. So when I was working with this one athlete, right, and he came to me and he said, "Yo, coach, I checked the roster. I saw that I'm bigger than everybody in a position. I look at some of those guys' highlights. I watch the games, and they ain't even performed to how I can do it." And he decided to go to this school. He goes to the school, and he doesn't play. He doesn't even get a shot. And he's wondering, like, wait, man, look, I'm in the meetings. I'm doing my thing in practice. I'm killing it. I'm even killing the guys who are playing before me. And my first question to him was, do you like being there? He couldn't answer that. Because in his mind, he just wanted to go and compete athletically. But when it comes to his personality, who he is, the relationship with the coaches, it just didn't fit. So when we're talking about finding your fit, you have to know what you're good at, what you're weak at, and what you're actually interested in. Because a lot of things, he even mentioned, man, I want to work out after practice. I want to get extra reps. And a lot of guys on the team aren't trying to do that. That's not the case for every athlete, right? So it's kind of funny, right? Because you would think like, yo, I'm trying to get extra work. Everybody should want to get extra work. Everybody should want to do more. Everybody should want to get better. But in certain environments, that's just not what it is. That's not the culture. So when I'm talking about finding your fit, it's not simply do you fit in the scheme of the play calling. It's not do you fit athletically. It's do you mesh well with the players, right? Do you mesh well with the coach? Can you and the coach have a conversation that's about the things that you're interested in, right? And this is when trying to find your fit athletically goes beyond height, weight, speed. You have to know, like, hey, I met with this coach. We talked, and I got a good vibe, right? I got a good vibe from him. I told him what I was interested in, and he understood that he wanted to help me get that. Most times, I don't think athletes ask questions that revolve around their strengths, their weaknesses, or what they're interested in. So when they get to a program, and this is why the portal is so loaded, because they get to a program and they realize, yo, this place is not what I thought it was going to be. But most of them didn't know what they wanted it to be. They was basing it solely on athletics. And I started off by asking, why does one athlete over here have success and this athlete over here has success, but the better athlete is having a terrible time? It's simply because they're just not made for the program. And if you want to find your fit, this is how I would suggest that you assess where you actually fit. First off, what is the community that you come from, and what program are you trying to go to, and do you feel yourself being acclimated into that community? What are you interested in academically or career wise, and does this school have that major? Not only does that school have that major, but do they have the resources to put you in to internships to exercise that major, right? Then what was your relationship like with your coach, where you're leaving, and what do you like about that situation? Like, what did you like from your relationship with that coach, and does your new coach have that same interaction with you, right? Then what type of teammates did you have at your previous school? And this is me talking from high school to college, right? What relationship did you have with your teammates? Did you get that same vibe at the college level that you had in high school? And no, you're not going to get the same players or the same brotherhood, but can you see yourself building that with this team? And if that answer is tough for you to answer, maybe go and try it and see if it works. But if you tried it and you got your answers and the answer is no, it's not a good fit for you, right? And then you want to set like realistic goals. Do I go to this program and expect myself to get everything I'm asking for day one, right? No. So how long, right? If we setting realistic goals, how long should you give yourself time to acclimate? I would always say 6 to 8 months, right? If not a year. And that'll give you a in-season, off-season viewpoint of, do you actually fit in this program, right? So we thought about talking about fit, trust, and ego, right? Those three things are where the journey of an athlete usually gets lost at, right? Because you talk about athletics, everybody get that. But we talk about fit, trust, and ego. You gotta have those three things in line. So I'm gonna jump into my next point of just trust, right? Trust is one of those things where it's subjective to the person, right? What do you deem as trust? What do you say is trustworthy? You know, my coach used to always say, he used to always say, trust me until I give you reason not to. And I held on to that because it made sense. I don't know you, you don't know me like that. So start me off as an A, right? I got all your trust. But the moment I break that trust, then I'm untrustworthy to you. So being able to say that somebody's trustworthy in your ecosystem, what does reliability mean? What does trustworthy mean? What triggers you to say, yes, I trust him, right? Like, I want you to really like dig deep and ask yourself, the people in my life right now, I trust. Why? Because that's your principles. And trust is really based around your principles. Somebody might deem trust as anytime I'm in a bind, they got me. Somebody else might deem trust as whenever I call them, they can give me the advice I need and they've never led me wrong. Trust can be subjective. Well, it is subjective, right? And then the way that you trust your coach isn't the way you trust your mentor, and it isn't the same way that you trust your parents, but the principles remain the same, right? So for instance, me, when I transitioned to school, I had some great coaches, man. These coaches really took a liking into my personality and to who I was and what I wanted to do. And I can like go in their office, share my deepest, darkest thoughts, and they would give me advice, right? They never told me what to do. They never told me how to do it. They just heard what I said, and then they gave me factual, blueprints according to, I went to a Christian school, so they gave it to me according to the Bible. And I was able to go fact check that, because one thing that my grandfather used to always say, check the checker. If somebody gives you information, go back and check that. So when they would give me these facts, I would be able to go and fact check it and say, okay, that actually makes sense. So that gave me a chance to actually trust them. And I had an opportunity to transfer. I had a chance to leave and go chase my athletic dream, but I didn't think that I was going to get that level of support and trust within a system at that time of what I needed for me, right? And I started to learn like, okay, this is what I really need athletically, because physically I was good, I was straight. I ain't really tripped much on that, but I needed something deeper than a coach who was giving me plays. And the program that I went to, I broke records there. I got awarded there, but it was a perfect fit for me, and I trusted the people who were leading me. Now, like I mentioned, I really could have transferred, right? I had a great freshman campaign, and there were some schools that was willing to offer me a chance to come to their program. Things were totally different back then, so I probably wouldn't have had the benefits of now with the portal, right? But I had a chance to leave, and I had to suppress the third part, my ego, right? Because here I am, I'm killing it. I got all these awards my freshman year, newcomer of the year, and stuff like that. Where now I'm like, yo, I ain't gotta be at this school. I really can go do this. And I sat down, I thought about it, and it just didn't make sense for where I was at that stage of my life. And as we talk about the ego part, I want you to think about, what does ego mean to you, right? And the role that the egos play in your journey creates pitfalls, right? So one decision can derail another one, which derails another one. Think, for instance, right, guys who've transferred 4 or 5 times, right? Like a Tate Martell. Those guys' egos were so high that they didn't believe that somebody else was giving them good advice. They was like, there's no way I'm not playing. There's no way I'm not on the field every time. I was the man back in high school, and they just transfer, and then you realize, me transferring and having the same outcome, it's really not the programs. It's me. And egos have derailed so many athletes' career because they're not being honest with themselves. Maybe you're just not that good. And or maybe you just don't want to be held accountable, so you blaming it on the coach, or you blaming it on the school, or you blaming it on your teammates, and you're setting yourself up for pitfall after pitfall after pitfall. And you'll see, go and talk to some of them guys who in your neighborhood who used to be a superstar. You'll hear a lot of them who haven't grown up yet complain and say, man, if it wasn't for this coach, or if it wasn't for this school, or such and such was hating on me, you're gonna see the outcome in their life resemble the same thing that they did in sports, right? And it causes you to make poor decisions, right? Because guys who finish playing and they didn't fulfill what they thought they were going to be, the decisions they continuously make after that will be the exact same ones they made when they was playing, but now they're doing it in real life where it actually counts, right? So here's how you keep your ego in check. When I was in the military taught me this. The world don't revolve around you. As good as you are, as talented as you are, the world does not revolve around you. You play a role within the big picture of everything. It's not the big picture is you, right? So when we're talking about keeping your ego in check, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Am I really getting up on time? Am I really eating right? Am I really watching film? Am I really working out till my hardest? Did I really go to class and maximize my intellect? Or did I just get by? Right? Being honest with yourself will keep your ego in check, because nobody wants to kill dreams. But if you're not really doing it, it doesn't really matter what your hype is. You gotta just be real with yourself, right? Then have people around you who can not be yes men, right? I don't have anybody around me who's gonna just tell me, yes, that's what you're doing. It makes sense. It's a great idea. You should do it, without checking me. Like, hey, like, why are you doing that? Or what's the point of that? That having people around you that aren't just saying yes because you're a star will keep your ego in check. And you'll see guys who got people around them like a LeBron, or like all your favorite stars have people around them who are championing them to be better. But then on the other side, you got guys like Ja Morant who got people around them who are just saying yes and not saying, hey man, don't do that, and that's dumb. You you shouldn't be doing this, right? So you gotta have people around you that actually makes sense. And to follow up this whole deal, man, as an athlete, been doing this for a decade now. Most athletes they crash and burn for three things. They didn't find their fit, right? They chose a program, a team, a career that really didn't fit them, but it matched their hype. They didn't trust anybody, or they didn't have anybody around them who they can trust. And when you're always in the mode of being defensive or secretive or apprehensive, you can't grow. So they don't get to the next level of what they can be because they don't trust anybody to guide them down there. And then ego. There's nothing worse than being a star athlete, high school legend, college legend, and you show up and people don't know who you are. It's the ego. Trust me, man. My freshman year, like in fall camp, dude, I was sixth string. Never in my life had I been sixth string. But I told myself, yo, I ain't got no film. I'm new. I was in the Army at first. I gotta earn my spot. Because it was me just being honest with myself. Because nobody cared what I did in high school. So if you don't find your fit and you don't have people around you that you can really trust to guide you in that, your ego will take over and you're going to kill every single thing that you're working towards, because those three things have nothing to do with your ability to run, jump, lift weights, or none of that. Those are things that's internally about you. What are your interests, your strengths, your weaknesses? Those things will help you along the journey to get exactly what you're looking for. And this is why I don't believe in the D1 or nothing, or I got to go to this school or whatever, because it doesn't make sense if you don't fit. So to say all that to say, on your journey, if you don't have those three things in order, it doesn't matter how good you are athletically, you're not going to get there.